All right, welcome back to the Jazz Piano School podcast, episode number 218. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Now, in this particular episode, Trent Bryden, one of our amazing educators, is going to be going over how to create left-hand chord lines. Now, this is more of a modern concept that you're hearing these days from players like Gerald Clayton and all kind of the younger cats, but it's a really, really cool concept, and if you can get this going, it's going to add a lot of amazing, beautiful textures in your solo piano and your group playing as well. So, I know you're going to enjoy this. I know I did. I started practicing it immediately, actually, once I listened to Trent's lesson. So, with that being said, let's dive right in. Here we go.
What's up, guys? This is Trent with Jazz Piano School, and today we're going to be talking about creating left-hand chord lines. So, oftentimes we kind of just plop and drop left-hand voicings that we've learned or practiced, such as the rootless voicings, the position 1 and 2 rootless voicings that we work so hard to get under our fingers. But it can make a big difference when you really work out left-hand chord arrangements throughout a tune that have real nice voice leading and real nice counter melodies, and not just the plop and drop voicings, as I call them. So we're going to be looking at the tune Just Friends, and I'm going to show you how I go about creating left-hand chord lines to use underneath both the melody and the solo section. Alright, so let me just play through it real quick with this left-hand chord line that I'm talking about, and then we'll go through it kind of step by step and break it down. All right, so that's pretty much the left-hand chord line, and a few couple things that I want you to notice. One is there's basically a counter melody going on in the left-hand thumb the entire time. It's creating melodic lines that kind of complement or are almost call and response like to the main melody. For example, on the first chord, the C major, I'm playing a fourth voicing of 6/9 voicing, so 3/6/9 of the C major chord. And then in the thumb, I'm playing a nice kind of response line that encircles the root there. That's one technique, is to kind of play melody. Another technique is to, and what I do in the next chord, is combine that melody with chords changing underneath. So the second chord is a C minor, and I'm playing this. So whenever you're holding out a note for a long period of time, where there's a few bars going underneath it, you can find a chord that fits nicely under this melody note that is kind of outside, but the melody note will fit in that chord. So for example, this E flat here is the third of C minor, but it's the 9 of C sharp. So you can kind of create, I guess, like waves, like underlying waves of chords that create some nice harmonic motion. So the first two changes together. It's important to note, though, that while the harmonies are getting kind of interesting, that counter melody is still definitely there on the top. The thumb, if you were just to play that, it would sound like this. So even without the harmonies, that's a strong line there. It's almost like you have like a saxophonist that's in the background that's playing these lines. Really cool stuff. So let's keep it going. All right. So now when we get to the G, I'm doing the same kind of encircling the root thing, but I'm adding a tension here. I'm holding the second and third together, and then I'm going down to the fifth. So it's kind of like a reflection of the first chord I played in left hand. So the first one is, and then this G is. That's something you can play around with. And then here's a real nice one. On the B flat minor, I've been kind of complex so far on the left hand. I'm going to just keep this one real open and just play a 1 and 7 since the third's in the melody. And when I'm going to the E flat, I'm going to keep this B flat in the root for some nice voice leading, and then create some cool melodic motion here going to the third of the E flat, and never actually play the root, so it'll sound like this. All together. Onto the C minor here. So I played it like this with the root and the shells in the left hand. You could, if you wanted to, split that up between the right and left hand. Or, especially when you're soloing, you're going to be wanting to play it mostly with your left hand, so your right hand's free to improvise. So for now, I'm just going to keep it in the left hand. Here's a fourth voicing, but notice that C is kept on top. You want smooth voice leading in that left-hand thumb melody, and sometimes that means staying on the same note. Here, on the B minor, I'm not even playing the third. I'm just playing the root, fourth, and seventh, because the melody's going to go down to the third and hit that. So I don't really need to worry about that in the left hand. When we get to the E minor, here's something really nice you can do in the left-hand chord line is contrary motion. So the right hand goes 1, 2, 3. The left hand I'm going 1, major seventh, minor seventh. So it's all a walk down to the third of the A that we're going to. And then the next chord on the A, I'm moving the bottom voice and the top voice up by 1 chord tone to get this kind of fourth sound. And then just changing one note to get to the D sus. It's supposed to be A minor, D7. I'm skipping that A minor, just going right to the D sus, and then walking up to the D minor, G7 with flat 9. All right, so that's a lot. You guys don't need to worry about the specific notes that I'm playing, but what I want you to take away from this is the left-hand thumb is playing its own melody that is in kind of a call and response fashion with the right-hand melody. And what you have to do with that is then fit the chords underneath that melody. You can change some harmonies underneath it. You can do some cool like contrary motion textures. But the most important thing is that your left hand has a melody that you're playing. You don't just want to play chords. You want to have some melodic motion going in your left hand chords. And this is something that if you want to, what I like to do is I like to work it out on every tune that I get serious with. And this is something that Bill Evans did seriously. He really worked out his left hand voicings in kind of a compositional process. And the reason for that is a couple reasons. One, it just makes the whole thing sound better. Two, you can create cool harmonic areas for your right hand to explore. And most importantly, it leaves you free to think about your right hand. So you're not you don't have to think about your left hand. You practice your left hand arrangement enough once you've written it that you don't have to think about it when you're playing and improvising. So your right hand and your improv side of your brain can be totally free without being hindered by the left hand. Another thing is sometimes when you go to these plop and drop voicings, your hands get kind of muddled up, and it limits what you can do in your right hand. Like if you're trying to play a line that's going to land, like if I'm playing an A minor 7 and I just go straight to this A minor voicing, I can't play any notes down here because I'm stuck up here in my right hand. But if you know where your chords are going to line up and you've kind of got it written out, or maybe you have a couple options that you can do, that's another way to do it. Have a couple options of left-hand chord arrangements for different choruses. You know where your hand's going to be free to improvise. So it really helps with the architecture of the whole thing. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to play through the whole thing one more time so you can really pay attention to this left-hand thumb melody, and do this on the tunes you're working on. For me, like I take a couple tunes and work on them for like months and months and like really get them down and do this is one of the first steps I do, getting the left hand down. And then like if you're just on a gig and you're just playing like maybe off of a lead sheet or an iReal Pro and you don't really know the tune, then it's good that you've got your voicing memorized, like your standard rootless voicings. And that's fine. That's good. That's a good level to be at, where you can feel comfortable. But I think it's nicer to go deeper and really work out some of this left-hand stuff on the tunes that you're really serious about. So one more time, here's the arrangement. Oh, sorry. And then into the solo, you can kind of simplify it, but use the same basic voicing. Ah. that was me just improvising a little bit, kind of getting the feel of those left-hand voicings. But you can see when you improvise, you're not going to play them exactly like you arranged them, but you kind of use the same flow, the same basic, kind of grips, and you'll feel it out. So anyways, have fun with this. Have fun getting compositional and creative and creating kind of your own landscapes with your left hand for you to improvise over. All right, have fun.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that podcast episode. Definitely go ahead and subscribe down below because we release a new podcast lesson like the one you just saw every single Wednesday and a new lick of the week every single Monday. And definitely go ahead and go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of the free education that we have. And if you're interested in taking a next step in joining our community and becoming a freedom learner and gaining access to our 600 plus Success Path curriculum, you can find all the info you need at our homepage website, jazzpianoschool.com. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, happy practicing.